Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as always, we will be discussing our weekly Torah portion. And it's not actually as always because we begin a new book. And our Torah portion, the Parshas Devarim, is the name. Devarim is the name of the whole entire book, but also the name or title of our weekly Torah portion. It means words, or rather we're talking about the last monologue, last address of Moshe Rabbeinu that lasted for 37 days, the last 37 days of his life for the Jewish people, where he teaches us how to live our lives without Moshe Rabbeinu in a holy land. But he begins his words with the pointing out the exact location where he will be saying this word. There's nothing strange about this because we know a lot of addresses by great leaders, even called by the location where they were said. For example, the Lincoln Gettysburg Address, named by the place where he addressed his words. And yes, his speech, President Lincoln's speech, changed the entire new history. But obviously, the last speech of Moshe Rabbeinu that lasted for 37 days changed the whole humanity in general. But among the exact locations, exact places where Moshe Rabbeinu says he will be saying those words, beginning from our parsha, he mentioned one location that obviously our sages pay attention was never mentioned before in any other locations. And last week we were reading about 42 journeys the Jewish people took on the way from Egypt to the Holy Land, and that place was never mentioned. I'm talking about the place that it's called Di Zahav, or literally translated Dai Zahav, enough gold. Why it's such a strange place? Because with such a strange name, because Moshe Rabbeinu wants to point out about our abundance of the richness and the wealth that we took out of Egypt. As you know, when the Jewish people were living in Egypt, we took everything from there. Even the Egyptians were ready to give all their wealth to us, just for us to leave Egypt already, and we took abundance, opulence of gold and jewels, and unfortunately, almost right away, just in a few months, we put it to the wrong use. We built the golden calf. And in a plain view, Moshe Rabbeinu wants to remind us, as a part of rebuke, which comes very often in the Parshas Devarim, about our misdeeds and mischiefs with the golden calf. But there is a totally different approach to the mentioning of this place, and this expression, enough gold. It's brought in Babylonian Talmud in Masechet Sanhedrin, where Rabbi Bar Abba says that, gives us an example, an allegory. He says that like a king who took his child and dressed him nicely, gave him all the best things, nice car and apartment, a lot of money, and put him right in front of the not such a pleasant place, not such a positive place, and told him, don't misbehave. Obviously he will misbehave. Obviously he will fall into all the indulgence of the material world. So our sages said the same thing, Kadosh Baruch Hu. What do you want from the Jewish people? You gave him so much gold and gave him so much freedom, they had nothing else to do but to build golden calf. On the other, what basically Talmud want to say in totally different perspective, that Moshe Rabbeinu does not rebuke the Jewish people. He tells the Kadosh Baruch Hu, what do you want from the Eden? The Jewish people didn't know what to do with all this richness that you gave them. They didn't have the Torah yet. They didn't know how to direct all the goodness that you give the Jewish people in the material world. Moshe Rabbeinu was a protector of Israel. He was making a case for the Jewish people again and again. And from this we learn a very important idea in Judaism that is called limud zchut, meaning learning the reward. Not just to looking at the things in the positive way, but even when it's unavoidable to see the bad characteristics of another person or misdeeds of another person, find something positive, find why this person did it wrong. The greatest Hasidic scholar and leader, Rabbi Levi, who considered the greatest protector of the Jewish people, there is a story about him how once he came to the synagogue on Shabbat and he saw a Jewish person smoking right next to the entrance to the synagogue, and he asked the Jewish person, do you know that you're not allowed to use fire on Shabbat? And the Jewish person said, yes, I know, Rabbi. He said, do you know that smoking means using fire? He said, of course I know, Rabbi. Then he asked him, do you know that today is Shabbat? Maybe you've forgotten that today is Shabbat. Rabbi, what do you want from me? Of course I know that it's Shabbat. And then Rabbi Levitzkin looked at heaven and said, Ribono Shel Olam, the Master of Universe, look how beautiful your children lashon ah. This Jew has all the opportunities to lie, but he insists to say the truth. This is the job of the Rav, of the rabbi, of the true leader of Jewish people. Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the first rabbi, he knew that his job is not to tell the Jewish people how they did wrong, but to tell Kadosh Baruch Hu, please be compassionate to the Jewish people. Lilmod zchut, not just to look positive at the things, but find the positive things even somewhere that it's very difficult to find. This is the job of the rabbi, of any rabbi. But Moshe Rabbeinu is until now within each one of us. Each one of us is the rabbi. Each one of us must learn how to find, to look, to extract the goodness in another person. In the most difficult moments, there is always something good that you can learn about another person. Good luck. Thank you. See you next week.